Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Barbier, Senior Director with Yardi. Welcome to Realcomm Live. I'm here with Mike Goodwin from Stockbridge. Mike, welcome. Maybe tell us a little bit about your role and a little bit about Stockbridge as an organization.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Chris. So my name is Mike Goodwin. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Stockbridge Capital Group. We're a private equity firm. We're about $33 billion in assets under management. I think we have around 600 assets, about 70 plus million square feet. And we're based in San Francisco with offices in Atlanta and Chicago.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time today. You know, it was interesting. There's been a lot of talk about AI here at this program. One of the things I did before is I asked ChatGPT, I said, what would you present at Realcomm? And after it told me that it could not present at Realcomm, it did give me a topic to present. It said, you should present on transforming real estate through AI, enhancing efficiency, sustainability, and the tenant experience. And I'm just curious as to your thoughts about AI in this industry, and maybe also anything that you're doing relative at Stockbridge to either policies, procedures, or even use of technology leveraging AI.
Sure. I'll start and say, I'm certainly not an AI expert, but we're really diving in, with both feet to try to figure this out. There's been a lot of interest on AI really throughout our entire organization. I think the first time I heard about it, before it became really popular, is when Microsoft announced Copilot, maybe 6 months ago or so. Someone had reached out to me and asked if they could get licensed for it. Yep. And some of the folks on my team had been using it, and then we all just really jumped in to see what we could do with it.
Yep.
At the organizational level, honestly, sometimes AI scares me a little bit with the information you can put into it and also what you can get out of it. So the first thing that we did was develop an interim AI policy. Mm-hmm. Really in an effort to put guardrails around people on how they should use it, how they should handle PII, PHI, MNPI, all those I's, right? All that identifiable info that exists out there, we just want to be careful with what we put in there and get out of the system. We also wanted people to be, just really aware of that, the information that comes out can be incorrect, right? So a lot of it depends on how you prompt, how you ask questions, what you're trying to get. So really just making sure people are aware of that. I think separate from that, we're formulating an AI task force. So we do allow all of our employees to use like ChatGPT and Bard.
Yep.
But separate, we're forming this AI task force with a focus on really like business testing AI to figure out where it makes the most sense to use and putting together business cases for where it makes the most sense. So while everyone can use it, maybe 10% of the folks will use it once and think it's no big deal and skip it. We have other people that are sort of living in it and using it every day, so we want to capture where it makes the most sense to utilize it.
Yeah. So in addition, it sounds like you have a lot going on around AI initiatives and just policies and procedures there. What are some of the other real estate technology projects or initiatives that you have going on within Stockbridge?
Sure. Well, we're always doing a lot of work with Yardi.
That's good to hear.
I think we've really been focused on streamlining our Yardi implementation and really opening up access to our users. I think historically, some of our business teams have had kind of narrow access to what's in the system, but with our younger generations coming in, they want to be self-service. Yep. So we're reviewing all of our security roles and making sure we're opening up things for people to get access to the information. We're working on building out a data warehouse internally, kind of a proof of concept, where we're feeding data from Yardi into Snowflake and using Power BI to slice and dice that info and put reporting together. Like I said, it's a proof of concept, small scale at the moment, but it's really promising. And we're really focused on using all of the really rich tenant level data within Yardi that we capture. Yep. For our firm-wide reporting. So it's been nice. We've really, over the past couple of years, done a lot of work around cleaning data governance, making sure that we've rewritten our lease administration guides and things like that to make sure I also forgot to mention, we use all third-party management. Yep. So there's a lot of folks we have to work with on from a policy perspective to get the information the way we want it in Yardi. So we've had a lot of success, so it's been really good.
So with all those types of initiatives that you have going on, how are you seeing demands from investors, demands from other internal stakeholders, and the efficiencies maybe you're gaining and just some of the new things that you mentioned, some of the on-demand stuff that people are trying to get access to? What are some of the changes that you're seeing in terms of those types of demands, both internally and externally?
Internally, Stockbridge, we have a number of portfolios and portfolio managers, and we work with a lot of different property types. since in the 5 or 6 years I've been at Stockbridge, I've noticed in the last year and a half or so, there's a lot more interest in firm-wide reporting versus portfolio-specific reporting.
Right.
So we've really been getting into the back end of Yardi through the YSQL tool and trying to pull together custom YSR reports that are firm-wide, and then also the data warehouse. So internally, I think the firm-wide metrics have been a lot more interesting for folks.
Right.
And then externally, we've not related to Yardi, but we've gotten a lot more interest in human resources type data. So people are interested in how many employees you have, how long they've been there, what's their tenure in the industry, what's their tenure at the firm.
Right.
So we've been pulling information like that. Again, nothing personal, but sort of that tenure type information out of our HR systems so we can report against it. There's been a lot more interest in mapping. So, people want to see things like My Google Maps or Google Maps just of the properties or portfolios or the assets that they manage. So we've done a lot of work around, building that into My Google Maps and then also into Power BI through, the data feed from Yardi. So it's more of a user experience. People just want to get more information out of the system.
Right. I mean, you have a lot of different initiatives going on. Like, what are from a recommendation perspective, some of the drivers for success, whether it's how you organize your teams, how you get the sponsorship and the buy-in from the business? Like, what are some of the advice that you might give people listening in terms of what's a successful technology project with some of the initiatives you have going on?
So we work really hard to partner with the business. So we've changed the way that we approach and prioritize our technology initiatives in the last probably couple of years. And a big focus of ours is the business champion. So we make sure that we have business buy-in before we prioritize any sort of budget or project or people's time. And we've seen a lot more success making sure we have that, and people realize, you are the business champion, so you're our partner in making sure this gets done. And when we get questions, from senior management about the spend or the project, you're going to be right there with us explaining. And that's actually made us be a lot more successful in getting the resources, or the human capital resources we need from teams to help us implement. We have a committee that meets quarterly, and the business champion will come to that meeting for that, that particular project and actually pitch that. So instead of me doing it, we have the business champion do it, and it actually comes across a lot better. And I think it doesn't look like the IT group is sort of pushing for more technology. So we really want to make sure we're solving a specific business need.
We were together just a few weeks ago in Chicago, and we did this exercise around kind of looking at the current structure of investment manager organizations in terms of the allocation of resources by departments, et cetera, and then what that might look like in the future with some of the technologies that you talked about, some changes and shifts. From your perspective and your opinion, like, kind of where do you see things shifting over time in terms of where resources are going to be allocated within firms like yourself?
I think different business teams are going to have more technologists within their team. So maybe not an IT person, but somebody with that business analyst mindset that wants to explore technology. Because I can remember when we had 1 or 2 on-premise applications, 20 years ago, and now we have 40 SaaS applications. Everything is technology. We need the business users to really dive in and be curious and explore and figure out how they can use that technology to make their jobs a little more efficient. And I think, our younger generations, and really every generation is great at this, but we're seeing more people want more access, elevated privileges, and we like that because we have a pretty lean team. We're a small team. But I would see either technologists or technology-focused people embedded in the team. Again, maybe not part of IT, or even for a big enough team having their own personal business analyst to help them work through projects and liaise with the IT group. I think you're going to see more of that.
More embedding with the business and kind of interacting with what the business needs are, and making sure that the technology is kind of driving the business. So it makes a lot of sense. Any last words of advice, people embarking on a new technology initiative that you might want to give?
I always get 3 bids. I think the business champion has been the most important piece for us as of late. So I think we do a really good job. We've always done a good job of that project management piece and trying to get things over the finish line. But having that business buy-in is just been key for our stakeholders, and then senior management, because they want to know, why do we need this? And it's so much easier to have our head of asset management or your portfolio manager go to bat and say, we need this for X, Y, Z. And then we just make it happen. My team will make it happen. So I think that's really key for people if they're looking to embark on sort of a new value-add project.
Excellent. Well, I'll give a plug for you. You'll be in a session at 4 o'clock today in the Verona room, where we're going to have a few other panelists talking about similar topics. So really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today, and look forward to our discussion again this afternoon. So thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.